Russ Heltman with Cincinnati Bearcats on SI here with new UC Special Teams coordinator Luke Paschall. Luke, you come from Middle Tennessee State, obviously been elevating throughout your career. How do the plans change kind of at each stop? Do you keep the same special teams mentality, or does that change? Because obviously there's defensive systems, there's offensive systems, and coaches kind of carry those on to their other stops. How is it with special teams?
Yeah, a lot of things stay the same, but there's some things you tweak as you go out through your entire career. I mean, that's the evolution of it, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. Like, you're always going to tweak to find maybe a better way to do it, streamlined, and that's what's happened this offseason as well. Whether I was at Middle Tennessee or here, whatever I've learned from last season or the previous seasons, I'm gonna streamline it to make it a little bit better. So, but in terms of the mindset, the standard, that's never going to change. That standard is best. So we're going to try to work to be the best in the country.
How beneficial is it knowing coming into a fall camp, you're solid at kicker, you're solid at punter, and you can build from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a relief. You're not really, I don't want to say you're not worried about it, because you're always worried about a lot of things, but these guys are super talented. They've played in games, which there's no substitute for game reps. And they, like you said, they're talented as well. So, and they want to be great. They actually do. I'm not having to kick them in the butt to work hard. They actually want to be great on a day-to-day basis. So that makes it a lot easier.
When you evaluated the team and the performance last year, what did you see? How much do you take away from that versus trying to file away and not necessarily put as much weight on some stuff because it's a whole new team in the next fall?
You said it best. It's a whole new team. I've watched every single rep probably twice over, mainly to watch what the body types can do, the players that are coming back, what they can do best, what they don't do well. I didn't really watch so much scheme and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't put a lot of stock into looking in the rearview mirror. We're looking forward. I'm looking forward, but I had to do my research because I got here so late to find out about these guys as fast as possible so we could bridge the gap.
How difficult is it to find that right returner? And on top of that, maybe start with this. What is the difference between the right punt returner versus the right kickoff returner?
Punt return is obviously a little bit harder.
Yeah.
There's more decisions that have to be made within a second. We spent a lot of time this offseason. You asked some of these guys, Logan Wilson, Manny Covey, you asked a bunch of these guys, we spent a lot of time in our returner school doing that. Kick returner, you're looking for somebody who's going to run through the smoke. He's fearless. He's going to take a hit every once in a while. It is what it is on kickoff return. You don't want somebody who's dancing in there. We think we have some of those guys that can do that. But I don't think it's that difficult at all to find a kickoff returner or a punt returner. They'll prove it. They'll earn it through the work ethic, film study, what they did in the offseason. I kind of have a good idea already about who the kick returner and punt returner are, because we had about 8 different returner schools this offseason. So kind of have an idea. When
you're in that role, when you get that position, does it stick out right away, those guys that really pop off the screen? Has that been the case this offseason, or has there been a few good potential returnee options that you had to parse through?
We've got a bunch, actually. There was more than I thought.
Okay.
And everybody wants to be a returner. Everybody wants to be a returner, and we gave open tryouts that first couple days, and we had to, some guys found out real quick that, we've got to streamline this thing. We can't have 15 guys out here that'll take forever. So we ended up getting it down to about 5 or 6 guys at both kickoff return and punt return that showed up as well. We made it very voluntary. You don't have to be here. And we made it very voluntary, and that usually lets me know who's bought in. And the same guys came to every single one of them. I'm going to go with the guy I trust.
Yeah. The voluntary aspect of that, is that something you've used at each of your prior stops of setting up open tryouts, or has it kind of been different where there's maybe a guy entrenched at one stop, and then at your next school there's not necessarily a guy already there? Usually
you have a good idea who you got, and you're just doing returner school based off the guys that you know. You usually know, but I wasn't here during spring ball. And that was one of the things Coach Satterfield wants to fix this year. He wants to fix the return spot, especially at punt returner, in terms of making good decisions and actually fielding the ball. A lot of times they're letting the balls bounce. And we spent a lot of time this offseason in the summer of understanding, having a sense of urgency to go field all balls, whether you fair catch it or not, just having a sense of urgency. So it was a point of emphasis for him. So we went to work.
Last question for Luke Paschall, Cincinnati special teams coordinator. That split second of trying to figure out when to field and when to not, is it just that kind of, you got to have the mentality of go and get every single football, that's just kind of what you have to do, or is there a science or an art to knowing when to catch and when to let it go?
Well, they should have a sense of urgency to go track it down no matter what.
Right.
You'll know in the process, like if it's too short, you'll end up letting it bounce, but you're going to go attack it. You got to get the other guys away from it, and they can't hear you when you're making your call from 25 yards away.
Right.
You've got to still have the sense of urgency to go get to it. That's part of it. So you usually know as you're coming up to go attack it that I'm not going to get to this ball, so I've got to start communicating to my brothers to get out of the way and then peel off and get out of bounds, get away from it. So the sense of urgency. We don't want cool guys back there. Cool is out, execution is in. So if you're a cool guy and you're a good returner, you probably ain't gonna be back there.
Cool's out, execution is in with special teams coordinator Luke Paschall. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.